You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christman. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every Friday. If you're not yet subscribed, hit that little subscribe icon, hit the bell icon, hit the thumbs up for us, leave us a comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. But best thing you can do if you want to make sure you don't miss any future episodes of State of Real Estate is go put it in your email somewhere at Tampa School of Real Estate. That's tampaschoolofrealestate.com or tsre.us for short. tsre.us. You can also get right to that. But what we're talking about today are 3 steps to become a real estate agent. Maybe you are somebody who wants to become a real estate agent, and that's what brings you here today. Or maybe you're somebody that's looking for a simplified and straightforward breakdown specifically for Florida of what it takes to accomplish the 3 steps to become a real estate agent. Because ultimately, to consider yourself a real estate agent, you should be out there selling real estate, right? At that point, I would definitely say, yes, you're a real estate agent. So what are the steps to get to that point? Well, step 3 is to get selling, but number 1, you've got to get licensed, and then number 2, you need to get active. So we're going to be breaking down each of those 3 steps today of what it takes to get licensed, specifically here in Florida, to get a real estate license so you can get started, you could get active with a broker. What are some of the other things it is that you want to know, the things that are going to be essential to help get yourself set up and off the ground. Having some sort of coaching, support, mentorship, especially as a new agent, is going to be really key in helping accelerate your real estate career, and that's how you get selling the fastest. So we'll be talking about the programs it is that you'll be taking through Tampa School of Real Estate, either in person, online, in a live online class. We have video-based online, text-based online. We have all kinds of different options to accomplish the FREC requirements, as well as other pieces of information it is they're going to help accelerate this whole process here. So again, whether you want to become a real estate agent or you're looking for something to share with somebody because you want to share this lucrative career that has changed your life, because I know it changed mine. I was working in a very large organization of over 180,000 people, and while ranking in the tops of those salespeople, I was still a very small fish in a very large pond. With real estate, you're creating your own pond, and you're choosing where it is and how big it is that you want it and how it is that you run it. And so there's so much opportunity and potential, and that's why real estate has changed so many people's lives. And it is making that shift of so many things. Number 1, for a lot of people, you're coming from an employee type of role. I came from an employee type of role. I had some self-employed and business experience, some investing experience up into getting into real estate, but the way I made my living was off of my paycheck from my job. And that's how most people earn a living. It's through a paycheck with a job. And maybe you are self-employed and you're looking for a better opportunity, because if you already are self-employed, run your own businesses, do investing, and you're able to make a living off of that, then why are you considering real estate? Well, that's where the second piece of the puzzle comes in. Not only does real estate help you make that transition from being an employee to being a business person to running your own business, but it also helps you do it through one of the best asset classes in the universe, which is real estate, on good old planet Earth here. Wait till the aliens start coming in here and we can start selling them real estate, as long as they don't just start shooting our heads off. But I'm serious, there's only so much land, there's only so much space, and even when they build vertically, we could sell all of those units. And there's a lot of technologies that are available now to help make this so much easier, to where, with a lot of the stuff you could do with AI now, you don't even have to hire an assistant. AI can be your assistant for free. It's kind of crazy. And then, of course, there's all kinds of paid things out there. That's a new piece of technology of really the whole quantum computing type of concept. So that's something that could really help you accelerate. And if you're in some sort of employee type of position, that's where you run the risk of your role, your very small role, being completely outsourced. But the thing is, when you're in real estate, when you're running your own business, there's so many different hats that you wear, so many different roles it is that you play. And you could do these all yourself, or with the help of assistants or AI, or however it is you go about it. Or you could see some of these like real estate mega teams where they sometimes even have hundreds of agents on the same real estate team, because there's a lot of real estate out there. When you sit back and think about the millions of properties that exist just here in Florida, and the millions of dollars sometimes a single property may cost, it's baffling how many trillions of dollars are out there in the real estate space, in the real estate industry. Now, our commissions typically are like 2 or 3%, somewhere in that range. Is negotiable per side. So if you work with both the buyer and the seller, you usually end up with double that, like 5 to 6, sometimes 7%, depending on what it is you negotiate. You can negotiate 10% if you're really showing value, maybe. So now, how do you get your piece of that? Well, again, 3 steps. And let's go to the board here. We've got the chat loaded up, so if you've got any questions, you've got any feedback, any comments, drop that in the chat. I believe we got them all loaded up. So whether you're tuning in on YouTube, welcome in on YouTube, welcome in to Facebook, and welcome in, of course, everyone tuning in on the Tampa School of Real Estate Success Center at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. And despite our name, you know, when we started, we come from humble beginnings here at the Tampa School of Real Estate, because we come from a time when we were just a single classroom, and actually in a very small room in the back of a real estate brokerage office, we were able to basically borrow their training room to be able to hold real estate classes. And that's how we held our first class of I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 students, but it was back in 2007. So we've been doing Tampa School Real Estate for quite some time now. I believe it was 3 students that we were able to land in that first class that we had here. And since then, tens of thousands of people, and probably we've impacted millions of people through our content that we deliver over the internet. So maybe you're one of those people that have tuned into our videos, but never you've taken a course with us. And it's not because we're just in Tampa. We have people all over the country that watch these videos as well as take our courses. So if you're moving to Florida, we see that a lot right now. So if you're looking for the short version of this because you already have a license and you're looking to move here to Florida, we're going to be talking more about starting a real estate career today, as well as getting licensed. But if you want the quick and easy steps for earning your real estate license, and this goes for anybody, whether you're coming with out-of-state experience or not, here is the link I would recommend you go to. It's licensefl.com. licensefl.com. That's licensefl.com. This is going to be your steps, your cost, and your requirements to get your Florida real estate license. And so for most people, if you've never held a real estate license before, you're going to be going through this whole process. If you've held a real estate license in another state, maybe you go directly to getting a broker license. Maybe there's a lot of other opportunities for you as well. But whether you're brand new or you've got experience from another state, I'm going to put this phone number up here to reach out to our advisors with any questions you have. These are people that hold real estate licenses here in Florida. We have licensed advisors, people that have broker licenses, instructor licenses, sales associate licenses as well. So a team I'm extremely proud of here that you could reach out to with any questions you have about anything when it comes to your licensing, your courses, getting started, any way it is that we can help you out with that. So 813-333-2676. And like I said, despite the name, we've actually had students from over 40 countries worldwide take our classes here at the Tampa School of Real Estate. And that's mostly our online courses, because especially when we're talking about entirely different countries, other sides of the world, we don't have classrooms there. Our classrooms are limited to the central Florida area here, but we do have a live online classroom, so you can tune in anytime, and work on our on-demand course, or you could tune in on your class schedule time if you're taking an actual live instructor-led course. So whether you want an instructor on your time or you want an instructor on a set schedule, we could do that online. And we also have a self-guided text base where I don't need no instructor, I want to do this all on my own. We've got that option for you as well. So whatever type of learner it is that you may be, you can reach out to us. We can help you with the steps to get licensed. Now, overall, again, there's 3 steps to become a real estate agent. Number 1, you need to get licensed. And if you are tuning in from another state and you're not coming to Florida, my first question I would ask you is why not? And maybe you've got family or ties or whatever it is that keep you to there. And I get it. We can't all live in Florida. But look up whatever requirements it is in your state to get licensed. They probably don't vary too much, but the one thing I will say compared to most other states is it's probably going to be one of the easiest states to get your licenses here in Florida. And not easy in the sense that anybody could get the license, because getting your real estate license is a serious thing. It proves that you have a competence, a certain level of competence determined by the Florida Real Estate Commission of laws and rules and things that are pertinent and important to real estate and real estate transactions. So it's pretty significant when you're able to obtain this license. However, it doesn't mean you're perfect, of course. So there's all levels of real estate license. The Florida Real Estate Commission also refers to that certain level of competence as minimal competence. But that's just when you first get licensed. And as you build your acumen and your knowledge of not just real estate and not just of the laws it is that you get your license, but also how to effectively communicate with people, how to effectively run your business, how to understand real estate investing. There's so much that goes beyond this, but before you could really take full advantage of all of that, getting your real estate license will get you a seat at tables that you don't normally have a seat at as a normal, typical, everyday consumer. So we're going to dive deeper into that, but again, licensefl.com, that's where you get more details on what it takes to get licensed. And then number 2 is to get active. Now, in the legal sense, you need to be activated with a real estate broker. So you would choose a real estate brokerage house that you want to hang your license at. And typically in 99% of situations, you're an independent contractor. There are some salaried positions out there. If you're looking for another employee type of role with a real estate license, it's one option you could have. However, I'm sure most of you are looking to get into this because, again, you're looking to also be more of an entrepreneur, a business owner, somebody that can make your own schedule, be your own boss, be in charge, be in control, or at least have that option available. And in order to do that, not only do you have to have a license, but it has to be activated with a broker, where, again, you'll be an independent contractor. There'll be certain rules of that brokerage to make sure that you're following the FREC rules and operating within parameters of the brokerage, but otherwise, it's basically your business, and you make your schedule, you work when it is that you want, how much it is that you want, and there's tons of real estate brokerages out there, ones that we work with specifically, that even if you need recommendations for brokerages that are actively recruiting new agents and have training programs for new agents, because that's a big part about getting active. It's not just that your license is hung with a brokerage, because any brokerage that is able to punch your license in and report it to the state as active, legally speaking, your license is active. But are you active? Are you an active participant in this license that you just earned? And that's more what I'm referring to when I'm talking about getting active here. And a big part of this is getting trained, getting the right knowledge to be able to take the right level of activity so you do move it to that 3rd step of getting selling. Because that's when you start earning the commissions. That's when you start getting paid for all of this. That is a downside to this journey, is you don't get paid until you make it to step 3. As a matter of fact, it's going to cost you here. It's going to cost you here. It's going to cost you every step of the way. And eventually you will get paid. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Anyone can achieve whatever level of success that you want in real estate. It's just give it enough timetable. You want to sell $100 million of real estate? Okay. Doing that across 100 years, that's only $1 million a year. That's only, 2 or 3 average homes a year. That's doable, but do you want to do that across 100 years? Probably not. You maybe want to do $100 million in real estate across 2 or 3 years or 1 year. So how do you condense that timetable? And that's what this is all about. And knowing, again, that we're trying to get to this point here of selling. So number one, you got to get your license. We could help you out, especially with that. That's if there's one thing that we specialize at all, it's helping people get their Florida real estate license and be able to start a Florida real estate career. So again, 813-333-2676 is that phone number if you want to reach out to us. Or again, the website is licensefl.com, licensefl.com, 813-333-2676. That's got everything you need to know to get your license. So then you could get active. And one of the things I would recommend, we have what's called a complete jumpstart bundle. That's going to include all of our exam prep to accelerate your studying to be able to get your real estate license. The exams, they're only 100 questions. They're multiple choice, but believe it or not, the state exam has a 50% pass rate. 50% pass rate, and that's statewide. So they don't publish it by school. We can't look that up as a school, as an instructor, as a broker. We don't have that access. They keep it all confidential. Month, an overall statistic, and it's usually anywhere from 45 to, on a high month, maybe like 52% of the people passing. So call it a 50-50 pass rate. So if it's a 50-50 pass rate, why is it a 50-50 pass rate if it's 100 questions and it's multiple choice? Well, because this is a test on the information that you're taught in the course. And that's where our exam prep is going to come in to help you reinforce that, to drill that in, to make sure that you know the key points and not everything that's taught in the course, because there's a lot of extra information that's required to be taught in the course that isn't necessarily too important for the exam. So the exam prep tools focus specifically on that to help you speed through the licensing process, because that's just discouraging every time you have to go back and take the exam again. Now, it shows a great deal of persistence if you just keep go back there and take it again and again and again, and eventually you'll probably pass at some point, because at some point you'll realize, I do need to, study a little bit, and rather than hit the books, maybe you just want to hit our app and do the question simulator and listen to the MP3 and the weekend prep recordings. But again, those advisors, 813-333-2676, they could guide you through everything in this complete jumpstart package, because the exam prep is great, but the exam prep only helps you up until you get this. Because once you get licensed, who cares about the exam prep anymore? We get people all the time that like, hey, I love the exam prep. I already got my license. I don't want to get these emails anymore about the live study group every week. Every Wednesday, we have a live online study group as part of our Pass First Try bundle. And so if you've already got a license, even if you love the experience that you have here, like, hey, I don't need this anymore. I don't want to exam prep anymore, because now I've moved on to step 2, or maybe they're already into step 3 of their selling real estate. So what do you now need to accelerate to that point of getting selling? Well, one of the things that's required within your first 18 months, 18 to 24 months, depending on when you get your license, but we'll call it 18 months, is called post-licensing. Now, if you're like me, which I'm assuming there's a large majority of people that are, that, maybe you see something and you don't see any real benefit as to how it could help you selling. Because, you get your license, and you maybe go activate with a broker. That's what I did when I got my license. I got my license, I went and activated with a broker, and I was trying to get to selling. But even though I wanted to sell, I wasn't really active. Even though I was active with a broker, I wasn't really actively trying to sell. I wasn't actively building contacts. I wasn't actively talking to people. I was talking to a lot of telemarketers that were trying to sell me stuff to help me do real estate. But I wasn't actively participating. And a big part of it was I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the right training. And one of the big things that held me back when I got started was, again, not knowing what to do. I knew what realtors looked like. I knew where they worked. I had a little desk in the office. I got to sit there and watch the other people that hung out in the office. But it was the agents coming and going, not hanging out in the office. I mean, maybe they were in there for a few minutes, but even if they were, they didn't have time to talk because they're on phone calls. They're banging away emails on their computer. You wouldn't want to mess with them. They were in the zone. So the only realtors I got to really learn from were the ones hanging out at the office, passing a football around, the ones really not selling anything. So that wasn't a great experience to learn from. The company I joined really didn't have any sort of on-demand or they had like this little like video library. This was early on in terms of videos, and it looked like they had converted these videos from like VHS tapes or something like that I was watching. But it was great that I had something to watch, but that didn't really help me either. And the post-licensing. So again, that's a requirement. But without making a big long story out of it, I really dragged out the pre-licensing and getting my license in the first place. I did pass the exam on my first try, but I took way longer than I should have. And I was working full time, so it's a lot to juggle. I get it. I've been there. I've been in that exact same situation as you. When I got my license, I was working full time. I was doing this on the side, trying to get my license, studying for the exam, dragging that out. And then once I finally had my license, I didn't want to go back to real estate school. I was like, oh no, I already did the real estate school thing. I already went and took the pre-licensing. I learned all the FREC rules. I know the 43,560 square feet in an acre and so on and so forth. So that's what I thought my post-licensing course was going to be. And so I eventually found success in real estate before this deadline happened, because I went and invested in a much more expensive training program that there was this real estate boot camp. But long story short, when I finally went to take my post-licensing, right before my renewal deadline, because I waited the last minute because it's a renewal requirement. That's all I thought it was. I didn't think there was anything to learn from it. But what I came to find out was a lot of those concepts that I paid over 10 times as much for in that mastermind boot camp 90-day accelerator program, which was great. But one of two things happened. Either one, all the basic information that I should have already known from post-licensing, because I should have took that as soon as I got my license, all that fundamental foundational information you need to get your real estate license. That's what I thought that's when I went to take post-licensing. I was, wow, I learned all this in that boot camp thing I already took. So it made it a little bit easier when I was crunched in right before the renewal to do my post-licensing. But then it made me realize, wow, where would I be if I took this course as soon as I was eligible to take this course, which is as soon as I got my real estate license? And that's why we include this post-licensing course as part of the complete Jumpstart bundle to help get you truly active. Not just active with a broker, because you could just simply join a broker and do nothing else and you're active in legal sense. But if you want to really be active and really actually out there making money in real estate, the training and information is going to be essential. And that post-licensing course isn't going to be the end-all be-all. You're never going to stop learning in real estate, but it's a curriculum that's designed for somebody who just got their license, who really doesn't know much else, who needs to start building a business. And now, all these years later, as director of Tampa School of Real Estate, I understand that. I understand the value of post-licensing and why I should have took that right away and how much that could have accelerated me. But no one told me about that. No one presented it in that way. I thought it was just a requirement, something you had to do, something you would dread doing. But now realizing that should have been something I embraced, because if I did, there's a lot of really golden nuggets in there that, like I said, I thought that's all my boot camp was, and maybe that's all it was. Maybe I just paid way more for a glorified post-licensing course that didn't even give me the post-licensing credit. Or maybe if I came to the table with that fundamental information already from my post-licensing, maybe I could have even pulled out some higher level concepts. Either way you look at it, going back, if I took my post-licensing course right away, I would have been better off, without a doubt. So if there's one thing I could change, that is one thing I would do. Who knows what else would change, what kind of butterfly effect that would cause, so maybe I wouldn't want that. But ultimately, from the real estate sales perspective, I would have been successful so much faster. But who knows, maybe then I'd still be out there selling real estate instead of also helping you guys out here. But do a little bit of everything today, so I'd probably still be here one way or another. I believe fate has brought us together, not to sound too cheesy, but let's talk about selling. So like I said, you got to get active. You got to join a broker. If you want to actually be selling as opposed to just referring business, that's where you're going to need the tools to be able to work with other real estate brokers, because real estate is a very cooperative business. That's why it can be so lucrative, because basically how it works is we have sellers and buyers. And the whole reason there's a need for us is because these sellers and buyers are not very good at finding each other. You know, think of people just trying to find their life partner, just trying to find their soulmate, just trying to find one single person out of the 8 billion people we're up to on this planet. And that's a multi-trillion-dollar industry of dating apps and dating website services and all kinds of things like that exist to help people just find a partner. Now, let's say you've got to do that same thing to find that perfect person to take over, to buy your property from you. And not only does that person have to be perfect, you have to be able to negotiate that deal and negotiate all the sticky pain points, which, if you've ever done this before, negotiating on your own behalf can be a little bit difficult. But when you negotiate on behalf of somebody else, that's where game changing starts to happen. It's completely different when you're not speaking on your own behalf, when you're speaking on behalf of somebody else. Because it's a lot easier to be more stoic, more unemotional about it. And so how most real estate is actually sold is there's a seller that's represented by a brokerage and an associate at that brokerage. And so that associate, that brokerage, will list the market for the property for sale. Then there's this buyer. We don't know they're the buyer yet, but there's a buyer working with another brokerage. It could potentially be the same brokerage. That's great when that happens, because that usually means double commission. But let's just say it's just a brokerage. We won't say who yet. But there's going to be another associate at that brokerage representing the buyer, and they're going to be looking for listings in what we call the MLS. So going back to what I said earlier, if you want to actually sell real estate, the way you connect buyers and sellers together is it's not you making connections with every buyer and seller out there. You're in the business of making connections with people, but when you find a buyer, you now turn to the MLS, the multiple listing service, to not just see this seller's property and this brokerage listing, but every single brokerage listing that's out there. The only reason Zillow has all those listings on Zillow.com is because realtors from their MLS basically allow those listings to be shared onto Zillow, which that leads you to believe, yes, you're correct. There are some listings that are not on Zillow and not on Realtor.com and cannot be found on these websites. They could only be found in the MLS. And the big thing about the MLS, the reason it exists, without going way into the whole history of where the MLS came from, but it's built for cooperation. And so what that means is there's always some pre-negotiated commission split that's going to be included on the listing. So this brokerage representing this buyer this associate can look in the MLS, look at this listing and see what this seller and this broker have already pre-negotiated to be the commission. Because let's say it's a 6% commission total. Typically, that'd be a 50-50 split, where 3% would be retained on the seller side for the services of listing the property for sale and handling the seller side of the deal. And then we'd offer out in the listing 3%, which is ultimately what would go to the buyer's brokerage, which what that means now is there's already a pre-negotiated commission that the buyer does not have to pay in the MLS. Now, there's typically some other closing costs, transaction fees, things like that the buyer is having to pay. But overall, this 3% commission, which for every $1 million, that's $30,000. For every $100,000, that's $3,000. That's already pre-negotiated to be paid by the seller. Yes, technically it's out of the buyer's money that's being paid for the sale price. That's where the commission money comes from. So there's basically none of this money up front for the seller and nothing out of pocket for this commission for the buyers. This all gets handled and settled at closing. And that's one of the reasons why we're paid so much. If people were willing to just pay us up front, $250 to go out and see a property, sure, $250, show you the property, have a nice day, hopefully I'll show you another. But that's not how real estate works, because people don't want to go pay $250 to go see a property. And so realtors, rather than charging per visit, charging per appointment, charging per hour, like say an attorney would, we charge on a contingency, also like some attorneys do as well. But where there's no money up front. So we could show you 100 properties, and if we don't find the right one, if we can't help you make a decision, if we can't get you there, there's no obligation, no risk for you as a buyer. Now, there's a huge payday waiting if we could make the deal happen. And that's because professionals can make the difference, especially in real estate. From not just counseling somebody through the selection process, but through the financing. And yes, there's going to be lenders and title companies and inspectors and appraisers and all these different professionals involved. But real estate agents, you're like the CEO of the transaction. You're overseeing it all, trying to make sure everything stays on time, making sure everything stays on track, to make sure everything stays getting towards the closing. And that's the easy part, keeping deals together. A little bit frustrating sometimes because not all deals stay together. But the secret to making sure it's just an annoying thing and not an anxiety thing is making sure you have enough business. And this is one of the concepts that you learn in the post-licensing course. So again, getting yourself active and to the right level of activity, you have to think in multiples. Not just working with one client, because that one client doesn't always lead to one contract and one closing. You might need to be working with 3 clients to get to 2 contracts, to get to 1 closing, if you catch my drift there. And eventually you'll probably close them all. But if you want to build a business out of this and have it more than just be a hobby where you get bonuses every now and then, but actually build something sustainable, something predictable, that's where you build yourself a pipeline. And another thing it is that you're learning in the post-licensing. So our complete Jumpstart bundle, that's what's going to include your pre-licensing course, all the exam prep, the post-licensing to help accelerate your real estate career. We've got details on all the steps, costs, requirements, all at licensefl.com. Or if you prefer to call or text in to an actual person, 813-333-2676. You can reach out to our licensed advisors who could help you understand everything it is that you want to know as it relates to getting your license, starting a real estate career, and doing that all specifically as it is here in Florida. Because Florida, there's a lot of things that are different than most other states, and so we've always been specific to Florida. We are the Tampa School of Real Estate here, but we're not just limited to Tampa. We are limited to Florida, but anyone anywhere in the world who wants a Florida real estate license to advance their Florida real estate career, we are the specialist in that. So reach out to us, 813-333-2676. Licensefl.com will take you right to our licensing guide, or if you want to just go right to our main website to browse the full catalog, go right here, tsre.us. So tsre.us, that's our full catalog, the full website. Drop in your email on there so you get episodes delivered to your email inbox in the future. That's about all the time we have for today. I want to thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday for more information to help you grow your real estate business. If you haven't yet checked out the library of all the past videos we have of State of Real Estate, Ask the Instructor, check out our YouTube, our Facebook, or again, right at tsre.us. You can find it all right there, our Success Center. Any courses we could help you take to get started, to complete your post-licensing, we have a great deal going on right now. Go to tsre.us/sale for the latest promotions. But otherwise, have a great rest of your day. We've got Father's Day this weekend, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're gonna love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number 1 thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Have you been thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licencefl.com. Again, that's licencefl.com. Have you been wanting to get your real estate license but have been struggling to find an instructor-led course that fits your schedule? I'm proud to introduce to you our on-demand instructor-led pre-licensing course. Now you do not have to make a course schedule fit around your schedule to take an instructor-led course. This course is designed to be 100% video-based instruction. And this video-based instruction, even though this is pre-recorded video, still gives you the opportunity to engage and interact with the information to ensure your understanding of important key concepts so you're prepared for your end-of-course exam and state exam. My name is John Chrismo, and I'll be your instructor in this course. And I've been with the Tampa School of Real Estate for several years now and have helped personally thousands of people going through the licensing process. I'm excited to be your instructor throughout this course. Now, as you're going through the course, if you need help, we're just a click away. In the corner, you'll see a little yellow chat bubble where you can message our student support team, where you'll be able to get in touch with our team of licensed support professionals that have sales associate licenses, broker licenses, and instructor licenses as well. So you don't have just one instructor, you have a whole team of people from the Tampa School of Real Estate to help keep you on track, to help keep you in the important information, and to help keep you moving closer towards building your real estate career, getting it off the ground, and being able to go out there to join a broker, to activate your license, and start earning commissions. All of that is possible and so much more. But to get started, you need to enroll. So enroll today. Take advantage of the special offer we have on this on-demand pre-licensing course. You'll have instant access. As soon as you enroll, you'll get an email with information to log into your course online, so you get logged in and start completing your course today. You don't have to wait until the class starts. The class is already there waiting for you. So take action today and let's start building your real estate empire.